It was local media day out in the 806 for Texas Tech football, and Joey McGuire had his season opening press conference. In today's video, we'll discuss what the head man had to say about his confidence level with this unit in 2025, as well as some position battles and injury updates headed into fall camp for your Red Raiders. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Red and Black Report. If you're interested in helping the channel out, the easiest way to do so is simply liking the video and hitting that subscribe button for 100% free Texas Tech content all year long. This is going to be a jam-packed show. We've got a plethora of notes to go through. Yeah, I'm a notes guy. Don't judge me, okay? We've got a ton of them to go through in today's video, in terms of what Joey McGuire said at his opening presser out at local media day in the new beautiful Dusty Womble football facility. I guess it's not brand new, but it's still relatively new, 1 year old, obviously. We'll discuss some position battles, most notably on the offensive line, as well as give you a plethora of injury updates, most notably to Chapman Lewis. Can we expect the star safety to play at some point this season for the Red Raiders? And in fact, let's go ahead and start with the injury updates for Texas Tech football headed into fall camp. We've got one for Chapman Lewis and Justin Horn, both guys that are coming off of ACL injuries. Chapman Lewis, the safety for the Red Raiders, actually tore his ACL against Arkansas in the bowl game. As it stands right now, his tentative return date, just like linebacker Justin Horn, is set for October 15th. Now, head coach Joey McGuire did say this about Chapman Lewis specifically. They are going to be smart about how often they use him and how they ease him back in, because he has not used his red shirt yet. They're going to be smart not only for him and his career, but also for the Red Raiders. Now, for those that don't know, you can play 4 games and then an additional 5 games, or however many games you play in the postseason, to count towards your red shirt and still keep it. Okay, so they're going to be smart about that. If we had to guess here at the RBR, I would suspect that you don't see Chapman Lewis back until the final 4 regular season games in order to keep that red shirt intact, which is in the best interest for him and the Red Raiders. All right, a couple other guys that were on the injury report to open camp. Ellis Davis, the offensive tackle, has been battling a back injury. He will be back on September 29th, according to Joey McGuire. Cash Cleveland, the center transfer from Colorado, returns back to the Lone Star State. He has a foot injury, and he's projected to be back either September 8th or the 15th, or somewhere in between there. Macho Stevenson, a shoulder injury. He's listed right now as the 3rd string corner behind Mo Horn and Amir Boyd on the left side there. He's been battling a shoulder injury. He's set to be back between September 1st and the 8th. Brian McDonald, he's got a hamstring injury. September 1st through the 8th, that's when he's supposed to be back. Most notably in terms of relatively quick guys to come back here, you've got August 8th between the 14th. These 2 guys are probably going to play quite a bit. A.J. McCarty, hamstring, currently behind Malik Dingle in terms of the star position there. And then Terrell Tillman, he's got a foot injury he sustained in spring camp, but should be back in early to mid-August. So those are the injury updates going into camp. Honestly, a lot better than we thought. Now, there are some guys that Joey McGuire was excited about, and you could tell he was genuinely excited to answer this question when he talked about it, because there were some guys that are getting a lot of hype, right? And rightfully so. I mean, you had Sheil Wood talk about David Bailey, Lee Hunter, Skylar Gill-Howard, A.J. Holmes, Romello Height, like all of these guys. And Joey McGuire talked really highly of Romello Height, which shouldn't surprise anyone. He could be one of the best pass rushers in the Big 12. That being said, there were some guys that were talked about on the defense and the offense that really stood out to me. Ofili, the edge there, he's a guy that had a lot of hype coming in to being a Red Raider. He was a pretty highly touted recruit, a 4-star recruit on the edge there. He's playing boundary right now as the 3rd string edge behind Romello Height and Terrell Tillman. He's a guy that, according to Joey McGuire, if you see him, you see David Bailey. He is following him around like a puppy, according to Coach McGuire. And that's something that, I mean, honestly, I'm super excited about. If you have David Bailey in that facility for 1 year, you need to learn as much as possible, and Ofili is doing just that. Another guy that McGuire talked highly of was John Curry, mentioning that he's 230 now and super lean. He is going to be an impactful linebacker for the Red Raiders, and McGuire went on to add he feels really good about the quartet of guys they have at the linebacker spot, most notably Jacob Rodriguez and Ben Roberts. But John Curry and then Bryce Ramirez, they feel really good about as well in terms of depth, and guys, if they need to play significant snaps, can do so, and they're confident in them. Now, another guy that they really haven't seen much of, but the tape popped, and that's why they got him in the transfer portal, is Incarnate Ward wide receiver Roy Alexander. He has been in the Mac Leftwich offense before. Remember, again, Incarnate Ward, they've played the same offense Mac Leftwich has had. He was a 1,000-yard receiver down there for the Cardinals last year in San Antonio, and he received high praise not only from McGuire, but also Reggie Virgil, his wide receiver counterpart. Reggie Virgil called him a quote-unquote all-American type talent. So those are some guys that were really talked highly of, and not to mention the 24 guys that ended up making the East-West Shrine top 1,000 players in terms of college football. Texas Tech had 24 of them, the most in all of college football. McGuire also went on to talk about the roster a little bit, saying there's 13 to 15 guys that are edges, linebackers, and defensive linemen that have started in college football. He also went on to say that 9 offensive linemen have at least started one game in the Texas Tech offensive line room in terms of their college career, at least started one game in their college career. So they feel good about the experience, but most notably the experience depth that they have in both of the trenches. Now, one thing that stood out to me was really how high he was on David Bailey and Romello Height. I mean, he spoke glowingly of these guys. Obviously so. David Bailey has the potential to be a first-round NFL draft pick. Romello Height will more than likely get drafted next year as well. But he said they will thrive in a Shieldwood defense, whether that's with 3 down linemen, 4, doesn't matter. He thinks that there's really not many offensive linemen in the country that can guard those guys one-on-one. When he talked about the RB room, he mentioned this is as deep as he's ever seen one, really. You've got Quinn Joyner, Jacoby Williams, and Cam Dickey. Jacoby Williams will be used kind of as a Swiss Army knife. Don't be surprised if he lines up in the slot and then you have another running back on the field. So you could have 2 running backs on the field at any given time in 2 backs formations for the Red Raiders. But he mentioned this as well. The strength of the offensive line, from what they can see, is run blocking. And that's something that's going to really help not only the running game, but also Baron Morton in the sense of play action. We know Baron Morton thrives in that, and that's something that really stands out. Now, a lot of y'all have been asking me about the special teams depth chart. Joey McGuire actually talked about that as well. He mentioned Roy Alexander as a potential punt returner, but as it stands right now, Jacoby Williams is the starting kick returner and punt returner for the Red Raiders. As it stands right now, you've got Stone as the kickoff specialist and Upton as the field goal guy. So you feel good about that. And he also mentioned he feels good about having Upton as the field goal specialist for this team, the transfer in from Buffalo. He had a really good year last year. Another injury update real quick. I forgot to mention this one. Reggie Virgil, good to go. Okay, he feels good, but he will start in a yellow jersey. McGuire went into how they do the yellow jerseys. That's more so for his teammates to know, hey, he's dealing with something a little bit. Don't take it easy on him or in terms of the routes or anything, but make sure you don't tackle him and go from there, right? Another thing that really stood out to me, and this is probably where we're in the video because I think that this is probably the biggest takeaway outside of just how excited Joey McGuire was going into his 31st year of coaching in terms of high school and the collegiate ranks, was the offensive line. He mentioned this. Last year, they kind of got a little rotation happy. Let's call it that. Not his words, mine on that front. What do I mean by that? They allowed guys to play a lot of positions more so on the offensive line than he felt comfortable. He brought up the Sterling Porche aspect of it, where he moved Porche and Sterling from the left tackle spot to the left guard spot at Washington State, and he had not had a single rep in practice at left guard, and it showed on tape. Go back and watch that Washington State game. Porche struggled. I mean, it's just the reality of the situation. But there are two battles going on currently on the offensive line. Do we know where this stands in terms of 60% this way or 40% this way, whatever it is? No, it's still early on. Fall camp is just getting started. But there were two positions on the offensive line that will be going through battles, and that is the left guard and the right tackle position. At left guard, you have the Miami of Ohio transfer on the offensive line. No, not Reggie Virgil. Will Jados. He is projected in terms of the depth chart to be the starting left guard, but McGuire mentioned Vinny Scurry is ready to go, and he has a real chance to make some noise there and regain that left guard position that he lost last year once he sustained a season-ending injury. The other one, kind of surprising, honestly, was the right tackle spot. They are really high on Jacob Potton, people, and I am too. He is going to be a really good offensive lineman, but can he overthrow Hunter Zambrano for that right tackle spot? You got Illinois State transfer Hunter Zambrano, Jacob Potton, a guy that they recruited out of the high school ranks, to Joey McGuire and crew. Who ends up winning that right tackle spot right now? I'd probably give the edge to Hunter Zambrano. But if Jacob Potton does win that right tackle spot, first and foremost, that is encouraging as hell for the development that Clay McGuire is showing in terms of these younger offensive linemen. But also, that would more than likely move Hunter Zambrano into right guard. And that would put Davon Carter as the backup right guard and really that swing interior offensive lineman for the Red Raiders. So again, the two position battles on the offensive line to look at right now are left guard and right tackle. At left guard, it's Will Jados, the Miami of Ohio transfer, with Vinny Scurry, transferred in from Toledo last year, was set to be your best offensive lineman, sustained a season-ending injury. He's back with his medical red shirt. He has a chance to start. And then you got Hunter Zambrano, a guy that missed all of last year at Illinois State, transferred in, was one of the most highly coveted offensive linemen in the transfer portal. He is battling it out with Jacob Potton for the right tackle spot. And the two guys that are injured in that four-player mix were Vinny Scurry, as I mentioned, and also Hunter Zambrano. They are both fully cleared, so this will be a big-time battle to watch. And we'll keep you updated right here on the Red and Black Report. Hopefully you got a lot of information there. I know that I was taking a lot of notes during that Joey McGuire presser, and I'm just excited as hell to have Texas Tech football back. What's the rest of the week look like here on the channel? I'm glad you asked. We're going to be doing the record prediction. Yeah, I'll be putting my official record prediction video out here on the channel this week. How many wins do I have Texas Tech having this season? Well, you'll find out later in the week. We'll also have other updates, if there are any, considering the injury report. Also, who's looking good in camp? What can we expect from Texas Tech in this defensive line? What are the coaches saying about standouts? We'll have plenty of information for you here. And then I'll also have a little bit of a hype video as well for Texas Tech football and why I think this could be a truly special season for the Red Raiders in 2025. All right, I'm RC Maxfield reminding you, if you want 100% free Texas Tech football, men's basketball content throughout the whole entire year, whether it's transfer portal, high school recruiting happening on the hardwood or the gridiron, we've got you covered 100% free right here on the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube in the Red and Black Report. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, you know what to do. Stay safe and Recom Tech.